Holy, that is so crazy.
You know, my uncle, Dr. John Trump, was the
country doctor.
Yeah, Dr. John Trump. Well, he was a nuclear doctor, actually. He was at MIT. He's the longest-serving professor at MIT. He passed away, great guy. He was a brilliant guy, a brilliant scientist. And he used to tell me, he said, a long time ago, he'd say, Donald, someday, it's very dangerous, somebody will be able to carry a small briefcase into a building in New York and blow up the entire city.
Oh, wow.
I said, you gotta be kidding me, Uncle John. That will never happen. He was like a really brilliant guy. He was there for, I think, 41 years. He's the longest serving professor in the history of MIT.
Oh, wow.
So when I understand physics and when I understand things well, they say, how come there's good genetics. You know, I'm a believer. Are you guys believers in that? Were your parents funny? Were they comedians?
Yeah, my mom's.
Oh my God, he's gonna do this is my favorite Trump take. This is one of my favorite rare Trump takes, okay? He's gearing up for it. He's gonna say, because his uncle is so brilliant, he's also brilliant. But he doesn't want to say it directly. So he's just being like, oh, you're funny, right? Your parents are funny. That's me and my uncle. Osmosis. It's in the genetics. It's in the genes.
Side was is Scottish, and
Fellow Scottish, yeah.
Oh.
Scottish women tend to be.
You know,
pretty-
my mom.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
And she was great.
Which is that where you get your humor
Yeah,
from?
well, I'll tell you what. England at the time, they fought them for 1,000 years trying to get them under tow. They couldn't
England, as they call it.
do it.
Couldn't do it.
They're very tough. That reminds me of my mother, come to think of it. Now, my mother was a
It's so funny to fucking make the Scottish come out to be like Irish. Like, no disrespect to the Scots that despise England, but like, historically speaking, I don't think that the Scottish behaved in a similar fashion to the Irish. I feel like they were more willing participants of the process. Did you know Scots are overrepresented in both the Royal Army and the police force? Wow, I'm shocked. I had no idea. It might surprise you to learn that Dr. John Trump is not the longest tenured professor at MIT.
My mother was great. She was Stornoway, the Hebrides, right? That's really serious Scottish.
Yeah.
But she was great. But it is true, when you see Braveheart, that was one of many times, for hundreds of years.
Did you watch that with your mom?
To be fair to the Scottish, the pathway was a little bit easier. When you have the worst parasitic force, the worst historic parasitic force at the time, right there on top of you, it's going to be difficult to resist for extended periods of time. That's, that is, I think, the most significant aspect of the difference between the Scottish domination, like the colonial domination of Scotland versus Ireland.
By any chance?
No, I didn't. I didn't get to. I'll tell you, I saw Braveheart. I think Mel Gibson is a very good guy. I've met him a number of times, good guy. But I'll tell you, that was super Mel Gibson in his prime.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I was on a plane, and there was absolutely nothing to do. It was one of these planes that you couldn't make calls, you couldn't do, and they had tapes.
That's all planes for us.
And they showed me they showed me, sir, we have 20 tapes. And I looked at the tapes and they were all, and this was like 20 years after it was made. This was probably 6 years ago. Yeah. I never saw Braveheart.
Okay.
And they showed me a tape. I said, all right, let's put that one on. And within about 4 minutes, I said, this may be the greatest movie I've ever seen.
Incredible. It's incredible. Within 4 minutes.
No, I'm a Braveheart fan. But you've seen it.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I saw it with my mom.
I
She
mean,
was
how
emotional
good,
for like a week.
I wish I saw it with my mother. But it was good.
Was that your Braveheart moment, like after getting shot when you stood up?
No.
Never
You don't
my
think
freedom.
of that in those moments. You do what you do.
Yeah, thank God you weren't thinking about Mel Gibson.
No, but he's good. But he was, when he in prime time, he was great.
Unbelievable.
I mean, at that, his look, his way, you couldn't have had a better guy playing it. But that was a great movie. So, but it is true, England and
Scotland
at the time, for 1,000 years. I mean, they'd have the battles with thousands or once a thousand, and they run at each other. Tell me that. You think that takes guts? They run at each other.
I think so.
Knowing they're going to pretty much die, right?
The Roman army built walls to keep out the Scottish when they were up in England.
Yeah. They were afraid of the Scottish.
They were afraid.
The Scottish people, they're tough people. They're good people. Actually, they're very great people, but they're good fighters.
But your mom was funny.
She was funny, yes.
That's what I hear. I hear
she had a great sense of humor, and my father loved my mother. You know, they were married for...
Yeah. Polar opposites, though?
Yeah, my father was German.
Serious,
but good. He was a tough guy, but he had a good heart. When he walked down the street, and they would say we could walk down the street, he would always give something to... If there was somebody that had problems, he used to have the can and a pencil, you know, the can out. My father would always put $100 in that thing.
wow.
He'd always do it. Now, he had a tremendous heart, but he was a tough guy. He was tough. He was just like no nonsense. It was firm. My mother was a woman, and I don't know how your mother felt, but she loved the Queen. Don't forget, the Queen was, you know, the Queen was great. Oh, would she have liked... Because the Queen honored me before she died. She honored me as the president.
And that's why they killed her. My mother was a woman. Wow. My mother was a woman. Wow, Mr. President. Brilliant. The Queen honored me, so they killed her. They killed her dead. You won't believe it. They don't want the Queen to honor me as president.
In Buckingham Palace. And there's nobody that does it like the English. There's nobody that has that, you know, the pomp and ceremony. But my mother would love that. Your mother, so did she feel strong?
So what happened to that fucking Scottish revolutionary tendency there? So your mother would have loved the Queen honoring you? My mother was a woman.
Strongly about like the royalty?
I think they're obsessed with the royal family out there, like in general.
Your mother would have been.
She was really into all the pageantry, for sure.
My mother was.
Yeah.
My mother thought the Queen was great.
Yeah.
She thought the Queen was so wonderful.
Some of my family hates the English, though. I know. There's some history there.
I know. But a lot of it's a hard breakup. You know, they tried to break up Scotland from the rest of the empire, so to speak.
Because they got some oil.
And it made it by about like a half a point.
Yeah.
They kept it together, so I hope it stays together. I hope it always stays together. But England, as they say, because it used to be England, but England never could... and they were bigger.
Yeah.
And they had more people.
Yeah.
They could never finish it off by capturing Scotland. So it's really sort of...
They ended up having to marry together.
They married.
Yeah.
They became sort of subsidiaries, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But it was great. That's interesting with your mother.
Guys, that little chunk of this show. Okay, so the humor comes from there, maybe some other things, because I think that's one thing that there's bipartisan support for you is even the people that are like, I don't like that guy.
So many fucking ads, bro. Jesus Christ.
We'll go, hey, he's funny though. He says the funny things. Have you heard this before about it?
Yeah, I've heard it.
It's very disarming humor.
Yeah, but in my business, in what I do, if you don't have humor, you won't even survive.
Wait, why is that?
Because I think you have to have a light side. I see a lot of dark things. I see horrible things. I see things that are bad. I see political things that are hard. I mean, we have a lot of corrupt people in this country, and I see it. And horrible corrupt people. We have people that, you know, I really do. We have, from the inside, we have really bad people, and outside we do, but I think the outside is much. I think it's easier to handle China. If you have a smart president who knows, you know, some things, if you had who knows how to deal, let's say, you're not going to have a problem with Russia. Russia would have never attacked Ukraine if I were president. I used to talk to Putin about it. I got along great with him. They would have never, ever done it. I ended his pipeline, you know. I ended the pipeline called Nord Stream 2. Nobody ever heard of Nord Stream 2.
Yeah.
I said,
like, I'm an environmentalist.
I said, are you building a pipeline going to Europe? Yeah. I said, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And I told, I got them together. I said, you mean we're defending you from Russia? And
well, don't worry. Biden blew it up. So who's the real anti-pipeline hero now?
You're paying a big...
Remember when everybody was like, Hasan, how dare you say it wasn't Russia? And then there was recent newspaper investigation out of, was it Denmark, that revealed that they actually saw Navy vessels days prior to the mysterious explosion. U.S. Navy vessels that had their transponders off, just venturing around the area. Must be weird. It was also weird because, like, it was also simply weird to me that everyone that investigated the matter just kind of told everybody shut the fuck up about this, you know? A few days before the explosion that destroyed the two Russian-German natural gas pipelines, Nord Stream 1 and 2, which are laid on the bottom of the Baltic Sea, U.S. Navy warships were on the scene. They had switched off their transponders, and when the harbor master of Christianso Island sailed to them because he noticed this and suspected an accident, the U.S. Navy ordered him to turn back immediately. Why would Russia blow up their own pipeline? No, dude. I think there was a nefarious purpose for why they went with that. They were testing the limits of how fucking stupid the American audience is. And honestly, they almost got away with it. Like, they literally were just like, let's just say Russia did it. Maybe these fucking idiots will believe it. My poli-sci class is covering this, and I got the steelier ideas. Yeah. What a fucking stupid thing. People are coming in here being like, Hasan, wrong again. Remember when you said Russia would never invade Ukraine? Wrong again. No, dude, you were just repeating whatever you fucking heard from the last guy because you're a dumbass who can't think on his own. I never even directly said that it was like the United States of America, definitely. I simply stated that it sounds kind of fucking ridiculous that Russia would blow up its own pipeline. This is what the newspaper Politiken, one of Denmark's most important newspaper, writes. Christianso is an island in the archipelago of the same name, which is also called Ertholmen, is the easternmost point of Denmark and is located not far from the island of Bornholm, where both Nord Stream lines run. Politiken refers to the statement of the local harbor master, John Anker Nielsen, as follows. 4 or 5 days before the Nord Stream explosions, he was with the rescue service from Christianso because there were some ships there with their radios turned off. It turned out that they were U.S. Navy ships. Way to rewrite history. Wait, what? Me? What am I rewriting? Bro, all of this stuff is readily available. You can straight up go watch my YouTube videos at the time. What the fuck? Anyway, because there were some ships there with their radios turned off, it turned out that they were U.S. Navy ships. When the rescue service approached them, he asked by the naval command to turn back. Dude, I think people would rather hallucinate, like, whatever the fuck makes them feel better than to, like, actually re-examine their opinion at the time. Like, people were so incredibly fucking primed into believing that, like, everything I say about Russia or Ukraine is coming from a secret, like, pro-Russia perspective that they just cannot even imagine. Like, dog, when I am on the side of a group, even if the group is considered a terrorism group, okay? I'm on the side of Palestinians. I very openly tell you that. There's never been a moment where I haven't told you that. Never, okay? I'm very open about it. If I was on the side of Russia, I would tell you. I would make arguments as to why I'm on the side of Russia. I would not, like, hide my perspective. This is the thing that I would never understand about my naysayers, about these people that, like, try to ascribe some secret reasoning. No, I'm stubborn. I'm brash. I'm a loudmouth to a fault. So it's always been funny for years at this point where they're like, yeah, I'm anti-NATO. I am openly anti-NATO. I am not pro-Russia. And it's so funny when people are just like, nah, dude, he's secretly pro-Russia. That's why he's anti-NATO. I think you're a bit selective with this. Russian vessels were also photographed in the area. That's crazy. You mean to tell me Russian vessels were photographed in the area of their own pipeline? That's crazy. Definitely a lot weirder for Russian vessels to be in the area of their own pipeline as opposed to the United States of America having vessels around that pipeline like 8,000 miles away. I don't think the USA did it because none of the evidence supports it. It's not unusual for USA ships to be there with the transponders off. No, I think that even if it wasn't directly America doing it, they were definitely offering logistical support. I think most neoliberals online think all pushing Z are socialists. I think that's why, because they're so online and they think Twitter is real life. Yeah, maybe. Saying that I'm pro-Russia, saying that I am pro-Russian invasion of Ukraine, and continuing along with that narrative for years and years, regardless of however many times I have condemned Russia for doing so and have criticized Russia extensively over these past couple of years, is no different than how Republicans would be like, it's not climate change, I don't believe it. And then when faced with like damning evidence that maybe it is climate change, they just go, okay, weather machines actually. It's no different. You lean on conspiracies and falsehoods to justify the narrative that you were primed, or trying to find narratives that prove you right. That's it.
Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen says sabotage is indeed a possibility.
We cannot rule it out. It is too early to draw conclusions yet. But this is an extraordinary situation, an unusual situation. And there are 3 leaks. Even with...
I don't know why people are feigning ignorance. Just say, like, even if you hate, like, there are plenty of people who hate Russia. Okay. Understandable. They're doing some fucking really horrifying things in Ukraine. I don't know why it's so hard. Damn, that's crazy, man. That all the way back then, I'm still also openly stating, you know, hard for people to admit that, like, America most likely did this. Like, you can, like, this doesn't mean that Russia is all of a sudden in the right for invading Ukraine. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like there's only one party that has the most to gain and has actively said, we will do whatever the fuck we can to stop Nord Stream 2 from moving forward, which they successfully did. And it seems like, you know, they were not happy with like Russia having any sort of dominance over Europe. They openly said, we'll take any means necessary to stop that from happening. So I don't know why people are like, oh man, there's no way this could be America, even though they are the ones who gain the most out of this. It's Europe gets cucked because they're you know, a piece of their energy dependence, like a pipeline that is a part of their energy dependence on Russia is cucked, making energy prices higher. Russia gets cucked because, like, it's one way, maybe not the most effective, but one of the ways of delivering energy directly to Europe. You know what I mean? Like out of all those players, like, it makes no sense for any of those other guys to do it. U.S. with the help of Moldovan Navy SEALs and cow, says Moldovan Mama Liga. Fuck this, I'm subbing now. This is your worst take to this day. You tricked me and my friend Ryan with your pro-NATO sentiments. We already wrote in Joe Biden on our mail-in ballots and Ryan is in jail. I'm sorry, Ryan. Anyway, let's continue.
Billions of dollars a month for oil. It's not going to work that way. And I ended it. And then when Biden came in, he gave it back. The biggest project they ever had, right? He gave it back. And then everyone said, Trump is friends with Putin and stuff. Putin would say, if you're my friend, I'd hate like hell to see you as my enemy. Think of it. And I put a lot of sanctions on. But I got along with Russia. I get along with pretty much everybody. Actually, the tougher they were, the better I did with them. That's a good thing, not a bad thing, because the other ones are easier to handle. My mother was a woman, and I don't know how your mother felt, but she loved the Queen.
God damn, dude. Holy shit.